today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. Amanda Serrano actually reacted to my latest video covering the feud between her and Clarissa Shields. She reacted by saying, "Say what you want, but Julius is the man. Has a ton of class, but if provoked, has no filter, and a sharp mind with a mouthpiece that you don't want to start. I'll tell you, few, if any, have what he does in terms of giving a fudge. Love you, buddy."
Well, I like to think of myself as an arbiter of truth. Even when it's inconvenient, what needs to be said should be said.
But of course, don't tell Clarissa Shields that. Clarissa Shields, who reacted to Amanda's comment by saying, "Oh, please, he's been a hater. Stop it, Serrano."
Yeah, because anybody who doesn't fall to their knees and grovel at Clarissa's feet, give her the green light for all of her shenanigans, all of her childish antics. Oh, they must be a hater.
That's what it is. It's not that you behave like a child, that you're just a little girl throwing her toys out of the pram whenever another woman boxer is getting attention, that you can't handle it. It's not that. It's that everybody's a hater. Ring IQ is a hater.
Whatever makes you feel better.
Like when you DM Cameron Giles to discredit the viewing figures for the Taylor vs. Serrano rematch.
But what's to discredit? Those are official numbers.
So understand that when MVP released the numbers for how many households were tuned in during the Taylor vs. Serrano fight,
74 million.
Just somewhere in between there, 60 to 74 million households were tuned into the broadcast at the time that Katie and Amanda were fighting. That does make it the most watched women's boxing match in the history of boxing. It doesn't matter how they got there. It doesn't matter who was in the main event. All that matters is that that's how many people watched that fight, making it the most watched fight in the history of women's boxing. Surely more watched than your fight with Savannah Marshall.
You don't understand?
All Clarissa's trying to do by saying that, well, those girls weren't in the main event, they weren't headlining the show, is move the goalposts.
They can't take credit for those viewing figures because they weren't the ones headlining.
Most Valuable Promotions never said that they were headlining. They said it's the most watched women's boxing match in the history of women's boxing, which is accurate, because what other fight, what other women's boxing match had 74 million people watching it? If what you're trying to say is that neither Amanda or Katie draw as much as you do, then why do they get paid more than you do?
Never mind what Netflix paid them. $6 million for Katie, $6 million for Amanda. They were already making more money than you before that.
That didn't start last week. Just as well, Amanda's got all sorts of sponsors and endorsements. Why don't you?
If the crux of Clarissa's argument is that neither Katie or Amanda draw as much as she does, why isn't she a brand ambassador like Amanda Serrano's a brand ambassador?
Clarissa Shields, doubling down on her childish behavior, took to her social media and said, "I'm going to be who I am and how I am till I die."
Go ahead. No one's stopping you, but they don't have to like you either.
I've matured, I've grown, and I'm saved. I don't need to put myself in a box to be accepted by people who started off hating me for their own reasons.
Sweetheart, nobody put you in a box. You ran to Cameron Giles and he exposed you. That's how we got here.
Oh, she's arrogant. She trash talks. She's mean to her opponents. She's loud. She's overconfident.
What does any of this have to do with you DMing Cameron Giles to shade Katie and Amanda and him exposing you for it?
I've made it to where I am off of being real. I'm never gonna be fake, so move around. I'm not changing. Build y'all girls up and have them beat me.
What is she talking about?
Till then, shut up. Hashtag winner's circle. Hashtag quote.
Hashtag insecure. Hashtag glory hog.
This really is Clarissa's latest effort to take the focus away from another woman boxer so that people can focus on her. That's all it is. When MVP reports the viewing figures for an event that they promoted, what the hell does that have to do with you? If they say that 74 million people were watching at the time of Taylor vs. Serrano 2,
it doesn't matter if they were in the main event. It doesn't matter if they were headlining or not, because that still makes it the most watched women's boxing match in the history of women's boxing. You just want to handicap them because you know you can't compete. You know that there's no fight out there at those weights where you campaign that's going to draw that kind of viewership.
Then you make yourself out to be a victim. Say that people are trying to put you in a box. Lady, nobody was talking about you.
That's what your real problem is.
That nobody was talking about you, but they were talking about Katie and Amanda, and they were talking about how many people enjoyed the fight and how many people saw it. That's what everybody was talking about, not you.
You wish they were talking about you. You wish you had as many haters as you claim.
Because you've got it in your head that everybody's supposed to kiss your ass and give you a pass whenever you behave like a child.
So that when they don't, oh, well, they're just hating.
No, you're just childish.
Insufferable.
Katie and Amanda put on a great show for the second time, and what Clarissa wants is for people to talk about her and talk about the numbers for a fight she had 2 years ago.
It's been that long.
And this pattern of behavior didn't all of a sudden start last weekend. People are hip to it because of how many times it happens.
So where has it really gotten her?
Not to a $6 million bag, that's for goddamn sure. Oh, and now she's mad at Cameron.
Why?
Because he told the truth. She took to her social media and said, "Aw, he called me Shanae. Not the first time I've heard that one. That's all he's got? I knew it."
Knew what? When you DM'd him, you didn't figure he'd air you out. That's why you're mad.
She continued, "He exposed his ex for getting plastic surgery. I know the type of guy I'm dealing with. These type do not bother me."
Oh, he exposed his ex?
Exposed being the key word, the action word. Yeah, he exposed his ex, and he exposed you for the green-eyed monster that you are.
You're jealous.
So many of these losers online who pretend to be fans of Clarissa but never seem to purchase a ticket when she's fighting, they can defend her till they're blue in the face. Defend her as much as you like.
Because you have to.
That's gotta be tiring, having to go up the bat constantly for a train wreck like this. It can't be easy.
Yeesh.
It's not a debate, and it never was. When 74 million households are watching during the time of Taylor versus Serrano, that makes it the most watched women's boxing match, whether they were in the main event or the co-main event. It doesn't matter because it's still the most watched.
That's why you're crashing out.
It's pathetic. There are a lot of journalists with professional relationships they have to maintain and a certain etiquette. I ain't gotta do that, and I ain't gonna.
Not kissing your ass.
You're childish and you're insecure. If you had anything significant going on, you wouldn't still be talking about the viewing figures for a fight from 2 years ago. This is the what have you done for me lately sport. So what have you done?
Started a feud with Amanda, then made yourself out to be the victim?
Well, they're trying to put me in a box. They're hating on me.
Please.
Nobody was talking about you until you injected yourself into the situation, doing what you normally do, trying to steal someone else's thunder.
Trying to monopolize all the attention by making everything about yourself.
You're miserable. In men's heavyweight news, don't get caught. Tyson Fury will be ready for Alexander Usyk, says his trainer, Sugar Hill Stewart.
Just don't get caught.
Sugar Hill Stewart insists that he and Tyson Fury have already agreed on what is required to defeat Alexander Usyk on December 21st. Fury and Usyk return to the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, to contest the WBA, WBO, and WBC heavyweight titles 7 months after Usyk outpointed Fury to win the undisputed title in one of the fights of this year. It was the dramatic 9th round when the 36-year-old Fury so nearly got stopped that ultimately delivered the victory for Usyk.
That was the most memorable round of the fight, and for a lot of people, that's their memory of the fight, as Usyk is raining blows down upon Tyson Fury, ragdolling him from one end of the ring to the other. The mistake, though, is relegating all of Usyk's success to that one round.
When that's not the only round that he won, as Tyson Fury was moving lateral and trying to keep the smaller man out, keep him at arm's length, and Usyk was pressing on, he was winning rounds doing that too. The people's memory of the fight grows more and more hazy as more time passes. In the aftermath of what unfolded, criticisms were aimed at Fury's corner, where Stewart, his assistant trainer Andy Lee, and Fury's father John vied to be heard. But Stewart is regardless adamant that very little needs to change. What went wrong was Tyson got caught in the 9th round, he got knocked down, and that knockdown costed him the fight, the trainer told Boxing Scene. If you say all the other things, which everybody else seems to think are more important, to me, the most important thing is, don't get caught in the 9th round. Don't get caught, period. You make a mistake, you get caught, don't make the mistake again. Simple as.
I agree with Sugar on that much. Too much is being made of the corner situation and the chaos that ensued.
Too many people in the corner shouting too many instructions at Tyson Fury, all at the same time.
Chaos.
But you know, this chaos only erupts after Tyson Fury is in trouble, after Tyson Fury gets caught. So people yelling in the corner ain't what costed Tyson Fury the fight. That got a lot of people's attention, that power struggle.
But that's not what costed him the fight.
Obviously, Fury knows in life you learn lessons. This ain't the first lesson that he's learned in life, where he's been knocked down and he had to get up or whatever, so it's how you respond to what happens to you in life which makes you a better person. I'm as confident as I was last time. I didn't know he was gonna get caught. He didn't know either, obviously, or he wouldn't have got caught.
Seems simple enough. Just don't get caught next time.
I don't sense any frustrations from Tyson. He knows he made a mistake and he has to correct that mistake. The mistake has to be corrected. Don't let the mistake happen. Stewart was then asked if sharing the ring with Usyk has made the rematch even more difficult because of the opportunity the Ukrainian, 37, had to learn to read Fury and what adjustments are required. And he responded, they both shared the ring, so they both gained experience. Don't get caught.
And Sugar's not wrong about that either. It was a learning experience for Tyson Fury just as much as it was a learning experience for Alexander Usyk. And they're both the kind of guys that can make adjustments from one fight to the next.
They're both cerebral fighters. They're both boxers and movers. They're both good at that. What I think separates them is Fury is the one who's used to being the mover, the agile one, the nimble one, opposite the ring, slow and kloogy heavyweights who ain't got the best feet or the best speed, the best coordination, whereas Usyk has seen a more wide variety of fighters, from cruiser to heavy, different base styles, different strengths, different weaknesses.
He's come through it all, and it's made him better. That's what I think separates him.
4 weeks to go to the biggest fight of the year, the biggest fight in boxing, me and Usyk. And I'm coming in hot. I'm coming in hot! Get up! Can't wait. 21st of December, the belts are going to be mine again! Get up.
No expert in body language, and I don't presume to be a mind reader. But when I see Tyson Fury's latest entry to his Instagram stories, he just seems a bit dejected to me. Like a guy who's trying to muster up the old silver tongue, going through the motions, trying to psych himself into it, but he just doesn't care that much.
To remember what he said in a build-up, he said it was never his goal to become an undisputed champion. That was always someone else's dream.
I know Tyson Fury says a lot of things in a build-up of a fight. You have to use your own powers of discernment to discern what's true and what isn't. And when he said that he didn't care about Undisputed, I believed him.
I said that myself. This guy won't stand for ceremony. He doesn't care about making history, collecting all the belts, or any of that stuff. The only reason he fought Usyk was because Turkey and the Saudis offered him astronomical money to do it. And if not for that, it wouldn't have happened.
Because without Turkey, it wasn't going to. Don't forget, they tried to do it on their own. It all fell apart.
Fury didn't care about Undisputed. That's what he was saying before. And what he's saying now is, my rematches only end one way.
That's one thing Tyson Fury's not lying about. He's had several rematches and come back better in all of them. The John McDermott rematch, the Derek Chisora rematch, the Wilder rematch.
He came back better in all of them.
Though at the risk of stating the obvious, John McDermott and Derek Chisora and Deontay Wilder, they don't bring as much to the table as an Alexander Usyk. There's not as much to have to work around, to have to think about and prepare for. It's not the same assignment. So even if Tyson Fury has shown some ability to change, to improve, from one fight to the next, this is a different gravy.
Usyk said at least one rematch, came back and won it.
The difference is he didn't actually need to. When he beat Anthony Joshua the first time, he beat him decisively. There was no question.
Whereas Fury?
He had a rematch with John McDermott because everybody thought John should have won. He had a rematch with Derek Chisora because that was a hard fight for Fury. And he had a rematch with Wilder because the first one was scored a draw.
What are you getting at?
Fury needed those rematches, whereas Usyk, he didn't actually need a rematch with Anthony Joshua. He only had one because of the rematch clause. So I understand that the heavyweight division is a lot more spontaneous than any other division in all of boxing. That in the heavyweight division, there actually is a lot more room for surprises because everybody there is always one punch away from being knocked out. That when the men are that size, when they're that big, and when there's that much weight behind the punch, you never really know.
Anything could happen.
Fury tried to box Alexander Usyk the last time, and remember, I told you that he would. That he's not going to try to give him the bum's rush like what he gave Deontay Wilder in their last two fights. No, he's going to try to box Usyk. That didn't work. So this time,
He's gonna try to bulldoze him.
been hearing this and that about how Tyson Fury looks in preparation for this fight that really is just a few weeks away, that he looks heavy, he looks big. Change to the strategy. You tried to box this guy, and you couldn't outbox him. Now, you're gonna try to outsize him. Use your natural gifts. That you are bigger, you are heavier, you do take up more space, you're gonna rush him.
Okay.
Even the most well-made plans can fall by the wayside, and so, the problem with taking this approach, the problem with getting aggressive with Usyk and rushing him, is the sooner you do that, the sooner you can get caught again.
Like you got caught before? Like Sugar Hill Stewart is telling you not to get caught?
In a very general sense, the guy coming forward is likelier to get hit because he's coming forward. He's got to take on fire in doing so. And when the target is as big as Tyson Fury,
With arms as long as Tyson Fury. Space is in between.
I wonder if it slipped everyone's minds that Tyson Fury was hurt, he was caught as he was coming forward, stepping into his punches. He got hit with one that he didn't see.
Go back and watch it. It's when Tyson Fury was having success, building confidence, and it's when he came forward that he got caught.
And now your plan is to put on more weight, put on even more weight, and come forward even more?
Okay.
He's not going to mess around in the opening stanza like he did the last time. Not this time. He wants to get off to an earlier start. And he might actually have success with that at the start.
You know the old saying, though. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. The earlier you start, the sooner you burn through your own energy reserves, trying to finish him early.
Because you're bigger now.
If you plan on going into the rematch heavier than you did the first fight,
There's no such thing as a free lunch. Everything costs. Added weight might make you heavier and more durable in a manner of speaking, but it could also cause you to burn out faster.
and make you slower.
Easier to catch, easier to hit, easier to take out.
Because now we know he can hurt you.
Who do you trust?
I'm going with Usyk. I'm gonna go with Alexander Usyk to finish the job.
Is it possible that Tyson Fury could get it right this time? Sure it is.
I just don't trust him.